I made my shirt a little too big, so while I was water bending, let's just say my chest was getting a little bit too much fresh air. It's fine though, I was wearing a pasty. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about how I made my Fire Nation Katara costume, and this is actually a remake. She was one of my first cosplays back in, I think, 2015. I made her, and that was like one of the first cosplays that I made myself from scratch. I was really proud of it. It looked pretty good, but I decided I wanted to remake her, just with like different fabric and everything. And disclaimer, like there's nothing wrong with how I made her the first time. My preferences changed and I got way better at sewing, so I decided to remake her, and I'm going to talk about the changes I made and stuff. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is fabric choice. When I did the 2015 version, I used broadcloth because it was cheap and I was poor. and it looks alright. But this time I wanted to have some different textures going on, so I decided to use a mixture of this like shiny satiny stuff, and then I don't know what the actual names of these fabrics are. I'm sorry, but see how I have a mixture of like shiny and like not shiny? Matte, I guess is the term, because that like adds interest, I think, to the costume. They're just having a time. Okay. So for this shirt, I used stretchy material instead of the broadcloth that I used before, and this just made it like fit a little bit better, except for the fact that I made it when I was a bit bigger, so when I actually did the photo shoot for it, it was too big and it kept slipping down. But that's besides the point. When I made it, it fit better. So in order to make the pattern for this, I just traced a tank top and then shortened it, obviously, and then took one shoulder off. Are you guys okay? Hey! Hey! For the pants, the 2015 version, I bought brown capris from Value Village and called it a day, which is fine because they aren't super visible, but for this one I wanted to have like a wider leg because that's what she has. So I used a pattern for wide leg pants, which I will put in the description, and I just shortened it, and that's pretty much it. It worked out pretty well. I ended up having to take it in a little bit at the waist because it kept falling down, but yeah, they turned out pretty good. And this is also with like a stretchy material, so that stretchy material is usually easier to work with because you don't have to worry about like darts and like having it fit exactly perfectly, because it'll stretch to fit your body. The next thing is the skirts. I used a pattern for this too, but I modified it a lot, so I don't know how helpful it'll be. I had to shorten it a lot. So the main difference between this and the 2015 version is it's a little bit longer and it's a little bit wider, and then this is very different because I did not know what like embroidery was back then. So I literally just cut out the shape of a flame and straight stitched over top of it and just had the raw edges all hanging out in my first attempt. But this time I used interfacing so that it wouldn't move around under the machine, and then I did like a really, really close zigzag stitch for like the detailing here. And I think it turned out pretty cool. And then for the upper layer, I pretty much did the same thing that I did before. The fabric looks a lot better, in my opinion, and I top stitched. I learned what top stitching was, basically, so it looks a lot more like clean and nice. For the shoes, in the 2015 version, I bought some sandals from Value Village, and then I just made like a little fabric triangle and sewed it on there. This time I actually made shoes out of an old pair of flip-flops and EVA foam. So I got the flip-flops, I took the thong part, I guess, off. I cut it off, and then I made these shapes with EVA foam. This is also EVA foam, and then I contact cemented it, glued it down. Yeah. No, what else to say about that? And I painted it, obviously. Yeah, I'm actually really proud that these like held up. I've never really made, well, that's not true. It was one of my first times making shoes basically from scratch, and they didn't fall apart, and I walked on them for a couple hours and they were fine, and I'm proud. So the necklace, oh, this is actually broken. I forgot to fix it. One of the beads fell off in the middle. But anyway, the main difference is this. I used piping to make the gold part at the top and top stitch over that, so it's all nice and clean. The beads I used are actually the exact same ones that I used last time, so no change there. And then I got her ankle things and her arm things. In my first attempt, I just bought jewelry that I thought looked similar enough. I just bought like any gold jewelry I could find basically from Value Village, and then for the top ones I like put ribbon on my arms with like some Velcro. This time I bought some like foam, what is it called? I bought half round dowel EVA foam from Arta, and I just painted that and like attached it with elastic and some snaps. And yeah. And then for these guys, also EVA foam, and there's another half round dowel here, and painted that. And then I put some elastic there. And then for the wig, this part I didn't even make the first time. It's also EVA foam. And then for the 2015 version, I used my actual hair. I straightened it and I styled it as best I could, and it's alright. It turned out alright. Obviously I couldn't do that this time because I cut off all my hair. So I used a wig from Arta. I think it's the Aurora, is that, am I saying that right? Aurora in Mocha, and it's a silky one, so it gets less tangled. And then I styled it by, like, the ones that go in front, I actually glued this ribbon to them so that it stayed in place. And put it up in a bun. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's talk about the makeup. So I'm gonna put like a before and after picture up here. I've learned a lot about makeup. I got better quality contacts. The first time the first set of contacts I used were just like from a Halloween store, I think. They didn't really show up very well because my eyes are so dark, so they just kind of blended in. This time I used Coscon Anime Blue, I think they're called, from Uniqso. I have a code, it's Lex Mason if you want to use that. Yeah, and then makeup wise, like, you can just see how much my makeup's improved. Like, that would be like a whole other video of all the makeup things I've learned. I think the main things are like contacts, eyelashes. I use eyelashes now, which makes a big difference. And better contouring, just better everything in general. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful to you guys. I hope it was interesting. Please subscribe to my channel.